Hey, everybody, it's Joe Praino. Before we get this episode started of the Dirty Sports Podcast, I just wanted to throw a couple of upcoming, recently added dates to my touring schedule to you. I will be in Eugene, Oregon on July 9th at the brand new Olson Run Comedy Club in Eugene, headlining Thursday night, July 12th. Thursday night, July 11th. My apologies, guys. July 11th. The following week, I'll be in New York at Laugh It Up in Poughkeepsie. That's Friday, July 19th. And then the week after that, I will be at Yonkers Comedy Club in Yonkers, New York, the whole weekend, July 26th, 27th, and 28th. After that, I'm in Vegas in August and whole bunch of shows coming. Got a bunch of dates coming up end of summer and early fall. So keep tuned to joeprano.com or my socials for that. But I just wanted to give you guys those three back-to-back dates in July. Eugene, Oregon on the 11th. Poughkeepsie, New York on the 19th. 26th, 27th, 28th. Yonkers Comedy Club in Yonkers, New York. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Praino. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Wnba, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
Morning.
Happy June.
Happy June.
Happy Monday. You know, it's Monday.
Yeah. How are you feeling about that? You don't look super enthused.
No, I'm fine. You know, it's just like, I don't know. I'd actually be curious to see something that could read the brain, or I don't know what this would be, but like different levels of, I don't know, what would be serotonin, just to see how the brain is different.
How it reacts on a Monday?
Yeah, on a Monday versus, let's say, a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would entail.
How's the Andy Ruther day-to-day affected by like the Monday through Friday schedule? Like, there is certainly, when I used to work a proper job, and it's been a while since, both of us worked proper jobs, but it's the Sunday scaries thing is real. That like anxiety you get on a Sunday night. Maybe back in the day you were watching Sopranos or Game of Thrones or something like that, and you're like, oh God, tomorrow it's back to work day. But how is the Andy Ruther, like, is our Mondays a whole lot different than Wednesdays or Fridays or Sundays, or
Not really?
Okay. Isla, I assume, is not in she's not in daycare on Saturdays and Sundays, or is she? Because we don't, like, with the Ruther household, we don't know.
That doesn't exist.
She went straight from NICU to the daycare. So
you're unbelievable. Actually, she
was in the NICU of daycare for a minute.
This marked June 1st was the 1-year anniversary since she went
to daycare.
So when she started daycare, she was born February 15th. So when she started daycare, she was 3.5 months old. No, it's not that much different. Basically, I just don't have extra support, which and I mean extra support. It's not like I take her to daycare every day. I get her all, mom does the changing the diaper in the morning, putting the clothes on, which then, because if I put the clothes on, I just get drilled because you put her in that.
Right.
Which is so funny to me, getting a text like, you put her in that. You know, she could be watching the camera at daycare. You put her in that. I'm like, she's 15 months old.
Yeah.
And she's
You're like,
going to
nah,
make.
she chose it herself.
Yeah. So no, it's really not that much different. The big difference is just taking her to daycare. And then that's their problem. And then picking her up. And so, dude, some kids start daycare so early.
Earlier than Isla did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know, it all depends on paternity leave. Or maternity leave.
Maternity and paternity leave.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, it's if both parents get, you know, she got 3 months off, which to be honest is pretty rare. Most jobs don't give 3 months off.
Right.
A lot of them it's 6 weeks. They're not going to give you 12 weeks. So, yeah, these kids get thrown into it. It's a lot different than when you and I grew up.
Yeah.
Things have changed. And things are so damn expensive.
Honestly,
now.
I don't think I even went to daycare. I mean, I think I eventually went to I think we had 3-year-old pre-K and then 4-year-old pre-K and then kindergarten. So I think I started at 3.
Yeah, it's probably preschool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just different just because everybody's got to work now. Everything's so damn expensive.
You'll love this, by the way. So my nephew has gone to daycare for a long time. But since I tuned into a bit of the Andy Ruther show, I guess it was episode 2 or whatever. I mean, I'm going to send you video after the show. My nephew is the kid with the sewing machine. He is 3 years old. Or is he 3 or did he just turn 4? He just turned 4 because he was born during COVID. He was born during 2020. So he just turned 4 end of May. My sister sent me a video of him with the words playing on the Alexa screen to his favorite song that he listens to 15 times a day, I'm Still Standing by Elton John, wearing a boa and star sunglasses.
That's your nephew.
Yeah.
So he's the
obsessed with I'm Still Standing.
That's hilarious.
If this portion of the show was already behind the paywall, I'd send you the video and let you put it up. But if my sister ever saw me put my nephew on the internet, she'd probably kill me.
So, I mean, what are you thinking?
I mean, I don't even know what to, but like he obsessed. Boa, star sunglasses, knows. He's also like a savant. Like he's like playing along on the keyboard. He knows all the words. He's like reading at like a 5th grade level. It's a whole thing. But he's like he's 100% an Elton John stan. He knows every word to an Elton John song at like 4.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And you know, I like Elton John.
It's like, hey, you like Elton John? He's like, I love it.
I mean, there could be. My point is, Elton John's a great musician. You could have him loving a lot worse.
Yeah.
You know, knowing the words though, that's a fun age because then they can know that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The boa, that's hilarious. And does your sister have any other kids?
No, just the one.
How did he get into Elton? Did he just hear it and like it?
So this is why he's a little Rain Man-y. Like there's a little bit like we're not sure what's going on there. Like, is he going to be in the gifted program, whatever? But like, so at school, the teacher will like play certain music and then like teach them all. And she plays like pretty like, you know, it's always like fun, like, you know, stuff that would be like kid friendly. So apparently like the song of the day was like Rocket Man. You know, it's a little bit more kid friendly. But apparently, and she'll like play the song over and over. Apparently, at one point, like the iPod or the iPhone or whatever. It's just like rolled over to the next song, and he got like 15 seconds of I'm Still Standing, and now for some reason he's like obsessed and he listens to it 20 times a day and sings a word and plays along on piano and wears a feathered boa and sunglasses.
Well, here's the thing. Once I think at that age, once you're into something, and I talk about this on the latest episode of the Andy Ruther Show, my obsession with Star Wars. I mean, it's just like your nephew at that same age where I had to watch it every single day, became obsessed with the characters, obsessed with stormtroopers. And I think nowadays everybody wants to kind of say, oh, autism or Rain Man. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I also think kids just obsess. Yeah.
But he's weird in that, like, he didn't get obsessed with the song they played him. Like, he heard a snippet of, like, it rolled into the next song. He was like, that's the rest of my life from now on.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have jams. I had a jam at 5. I had a jam I was obsessed with. I was obsessed with The Who. Who Are You? I mean, obsessed. My brothers would play it all the time. I couldn't stop listening to it.
Have you seen have you ever seen what is it? Joe Pera Talks You to Sleep on Max? Oh my God. Andy, if you are obsessed with The Who, you gotta watch. There's an episode of Joe Pera Talks You to Sleep about him hearing Baba O'Reilly for the first time, like in his 30s, and not being like it's literally my nephew. Basically, he just hears it for the first time, and the whole episode's about him like being obsessed with it and talking to people about it. He's like, "Do you know the song's not called like?" He's like, "It's actually called Baba O'Reilly." It's such a great episode.
Dude, but I wasn't obsessed with Baba O'Reilly.
No, I know, but because you were obsessed with the Who song, like you have to see this episode.
Yeah, because we used to lip sync songs in my house, the 5 of us, 4 of us. My brother was too little. My brother would set up my dad's camera.
You were like a white version of the Jackson 5?
Yeah, the most whitest and untalented version.
Walt was like beating you guys if you messed up the dance moves?
No, Walt, I don't know where Walt is. I don't know where Walt is. I was always putting the drums, which was in the back.
You're like, where was Walt during all this?
Yeah, I don't know where Walt is. I don't know what was going on. But I'm in the back in the drums, which was just little buckets that you'd put sand in, flipped over, and I took wooden spoons.
There's guys who make good money doing that down in Venice Beach.
Yeah, that's true. Drums. That's true. So we got a nice little full episode today. We're going to have Ryan Klatt on in about 25 minutes because we have our Stanley Cup Final.
Yep.
Edmonton versus Florida, I believe.
Correct.
What is going on? Haven't watched any of that as far as the hockey playoffs. So we'll have to bring Ryan on to break it down. Where do you want to start here?
Well, I had a quick peek yesterday at the rundown, and the only thing that was on there was the Caitlin Clark incident. So I don't know what else is on your rundown. It sounds like Caitlin Clark, Ryan Klatt, and the hockey update. What else is what's on our rundown?
I'd like to kind of preview the NBA Finals a little.
Sure. Yeah.
Also, big deal today in the NFL with the Justin Jefferson contract.
Okay, let's start there since that seems like a good segue from last episode, which we talked a lot of wide receiver contracts. Let me see if in my pre-coffee Twitter look this morning, if I got the deal. Is it $150 million with like 110 guaranteed for 4 years?
140, 110 guaranteed.
140, 110 guaranteed 4 years.
Highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
So 140 is 35 a year.
Yeah, he gets 35 a year. By far the highest guaranteed. The highest guaranteed, we just went over him. The bottom 3 before him were Jalen Waddle at 76, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 77, AJ Brown at 84. And now he's 110. So he is 26 million higher. People might disagree. I just think it's terrible. The more I've thought about it, I'm more leaning into these guys being like running backs.
But
who's your quarterback?
Yeah, but who cares? Like, so here's my opinion, and I generally obviously agree with you. Like, you have to be sad, but like, are the Vikings winning the Super Bowl anytime soon?
No, but we're talking about building a team.
But hold on, they drafted a quarterback. They drafted a quarterback high. So they hope that JJ McCarthy is their next quarterback, correct?
Correct.
They don't have to pay him for 5 years. So this contract is over before they have to pay JJ McCarthy. If you want JJ McCarthy's ease into the NFL, to be smooth, you give him, you lock up the best wide receiver in football, and you give him literally his binky and his bottle. I mean, Kirk Cousins was in the league a dozen years, and Justin Jefferson was his binky. Remember 2 years ago when we had to deal with raging Vikings fans? We beat the Bills. Yeah. Fucking Kirk Cousins overthrew Justin Jefferson by 12 yards, and he went up and fucking plastic manned it and brought it in. It's the only reason you guys won that game. I am fine with it because you're not building yourself a championship contender this season. And if let's say you have designs to be a contender before JJ McCarthy's rookie contract is over, which is obviously the new model, you're going to have to pay some people. Like, it may as well be that guy.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my thing, though, when it comes to building a team, and maybe there's just not enough bodies. If you actually want to build a team, I'm not going skilled. I'm going with the interior line. Spread that money around. Build in my opinion, a team.
Yeah, but you know what, Andy? There's besides quarterback, there's not really a position on the field where you're like, oh, this is where you should spend your money. Like, look at some of the teams that have won, in some reason. Like, you can take having 6 guys that can sub in and out of your defensive line is better than having 2 guys who are just like super paid and then 2 guys who are like filling it. Like, a lot of times the best defenses are the defenses that their front is super deep and they're rotating young guys in. And sure, maybe you have a Von Miller, or maybe you have a Michael Strahan, or maybe you have a JJ Watt or whatever. But that's one guy. And then the rest of them, you're not really paying. You're drafting these guys and you're just like going crazy rotations and keeping guys off field. Like, we're running out of positions where it's reasonable to say, no doubt about it, this is the guy you want to pay.
But this is my point. The Vikings literally did it the other way when they got Justin Jefferson. They traded Stephon Diggs. They get a rookie wide receiver drafted, I believe, 20th, 21st, 22nd, whatever it was. You get him on a rookie deal. So you get him cheap. So they've already done this. I would counter that.
Yes, but Andy, look at the difference in value between the cap hit of the biggest wide receiver number ever and a quarterback. So if you're going to do this,
disparity.
Yeah. So if your options are, we overpay, even if I'm not necessarily saying that, but we overpay Justin Jefferson and have a quarterback on a rookie deal, or we overpay Kirk Cousins and we have Justin Jefferson on a rookie deal. It's a no-brainer, especially when your quarterback fucking stinks. Now, JJ McCarthy, you're building yourself a window here. Think about just like every team in football. Think about how much of that pie has to get carved out if they have a franchise quarterback. So the Vikings don't, and they don't have to for until this Justin Jefferson deal is over. So suddenly you have a lot more pie to spread around because you're not paying a quarterback.
Okay, so here's an interesting stat. I want to pull this up because I think it matters because we've talked about quarterbacks leading the league in passing yards. Only one has ever won a Super Bowl. That was Patrick Mahomes a few years ago. And that basically holds up with receivers. That's all I'm saying. Now Cooper Kupp led the league in receiving yards in 2021 when the Rams won.
Yeah.
But as I briefly just go through and kind of calculate it in my head, I'm just saying I'm not seeing guys who are leading the league.
You're now you get into a point where you could do that. So no, you're running back leading the league in.
Okay, you probably could.
You're running back leading the league in rushing yards doesn't make you like who's the Super Bowl winner with an elite running back? Who's the Super Bowl winner with an elite wide receiver? Who's the Super Bowl winner with a quarterback that's leading the league in passing yardage? Okay, who's the team that wins the Super Bowl if your edge rusher leads the league in sacks? Who's the team that wins the Super Bowl if your corner leads the league in interceptions? Like, it's literally not like, because how would it work that way? Right.
Well, look, all I'm saying is the value. This is my counterpoint. The value Justin Jefferson has, the trade value. What are the Vikings getting in return if they trade him and they don't sign him? That's all. All I'm saying is, I go back to again.
But
my thing is
Andy,
the Patriots, the Chiefs model.
Don't you agree? Well, no. So the model is have the quarterback of a generation.
Well, yeah, you have a quarterback of a generation, but the model is those teams they built around. They let Tyreek Hill go. They didn't outside of Randy.
They paid Patrick Mahomes. They didn't let Tyreek Hill go until they gave Patrick Mahomes his $500 million deal. They had Tyreek Hill then. When we have discussed the build when your quarterback is not getting paid model. We all agree that's smart.
For sure.
So then you have money, you have to pay the other people. Who are you paying? If you're not paying your quarterback, the reason that model works is because you have money to pay other positions before the quarterback comes in and takes a huge piece of the pie. So in those moments, like the Tyreek Hill Waddle deal, we both hated because Tua hasn't been paid. And so now we also talked last episode of like, ooh, maybe this is them saying we're not going to. Interesting, right? But you can't make this Justin Jefferson deal. I mean, it's honestly likely why Kirk Cousins is gone.
Yeah.
We're better off with a rookie quarterback and paying Justin Jefferson than we are Stephon Diggsing Justin Jefferson and keeping to pay a mediocre quarterback.
Yeah, and that's a fair point for sure.
And again, it's a 4-year deal. It literally lines up with
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, if he ends up being the guy.
I guess maybe I should clarify. Maybe it's not as bad here. I see your points. I guess where I take issue again about building a team is you have two other receivers sitting there. And I don't know if you know, it's earlier your time. Everybody's talking now. And I think it's a good question. This is what Justin Jefferson gets paid. So what is the value now for CeeDee Lamb in Dallas and Jamar Chase in Cincinnati? So it's like, okay, you have two other good receivers in that wheelhouse of Justin Jefferson. So you figured they're now that the market's been set. I mean, that's a $26 million jump.
Sure.
So now CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson Jamar Chase are licking their chops.
Yep.
And you have a quarterback who's been paid in the Bengals.
Yep.
And then you have the Dak Prescott situation, which was not a long-term deal. And he's going to be due again. So it's like, my question is, how close to the 110 do these guys deserve? And my second follow-up is, how does that play out with those teams?
So honestly, if I was putting my GM cap on for both of those teams. What you do is CeeDee Lamb's been great. Now, also at the same time, they've been like a spread it the fuck around offense, and they've been like, the Cowboys putting up a ton of points is, you have to look at the inflated stats a little bit, but he's been great. So with CeeDee Lamb, you obviously have 100% question mark in the Vikings quarterback, right? You've just drafted a guy. You never know what he's going to become, right? You have no question mark in Cincinnati.
Sure.
Right? Dak Prescott is in between. Cowboys fans are going to tell you Dak Prescott is there's no question mark there. He's our guy, blah, 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 blah. Let's pay CeeDee Lamb. Let's pay Dak Prescott. Let's go for this thing. Great. As a Giants fan, please do. Please do. Please pay both of them. Let's let your defense fall off. Let's let your offense be top loaded in salary numbers. Give a ton of money to one wide receiver. Give a ton of money to your quarterback. And let's just start pulling. This is where it gets financially reckless. Now, if I was being a GM, I'd say we can pay CeeDee Lamb. And now we go into full eval mode with Dak Prescott. You can't pay CeeDee Lamb the money that you just paid Justin Jefferson if you think Dak Prescott is your franchise quarterback for the next 5 to 6 years. Because where do you get the money? This is not how teams are built these days. You either believe Dak Prescott is Dallas's Patrick Mahomes and you let your fucking Tyreek Hill go, or you believe that next year you might have Dallas's JJ McCarthy under center and you give him his Justin Jefferson. The Bengals, different situation. Now we get, what did I say last episode? You kind of have to put a hard cap on it because you can't win if you top load like that. You kind of have to say, this is what it is. T. Higgins is still sitting here on his 1-year deal that he doesn't want to play on.
He hasn't signed. So we can pivot. We're going to sign a wide receiver. You want to try to cool, Jamar Chase. That's what Justin Jefferson got. And I get it's a business, but they're not paying their quarterback. And we are. Do you want to be on a winner or do you want to be paid? Because you can go get paid somewhere and probably not win. Or you can get paid a little less and win here. And no way he would take less money. No way.
But that's where we are in the NFL today. That's where it was absurd to people that they let Tyreek Hill go. But they were like, he's the best receiver in football. And they're like, bye.
But that's my point.
Right. So I'm saying if I'm putting the GM cap on, that's what I'm doing. If I'm the Bengals, I'm like, here's the number we're offering you. If not, we take part of that, we give it to Higgins, and we trade you.
But that's exactly. I'm saying why I keep saying the Patriots and then the Chiefs, like that model. I know everybody doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. He's one of one. But that model of letting the guy walk, and also, it's fascinating to me how stupid. I know everybody's going to say, "Oh, you're just looking for an opportunity to dunk on them," but it's true. They couldn't have played it worse, I think, with this situation. You now have 2 unsigned receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like if you sign him ahead, the market doesn't go this high. Like the Justin Jefferson signing just does not bode well at all. Like everybody here, it's funny, and I think people know if they get Chase and Higgins for one more year, it's like, this is the year. Then you gotta have that Lombardi trophy, because then everything changes. And
right.
again,
which if you're the Bengals, that I guess the other option of it is, well, first of all, T. Higgins seemingly isn't playing on his franchise tag.
I haven't followed it closely enough.
Right.
Really, you think he's gonna do a?
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm saying, so if
I refuse to believe that. You think?
Okay.
I just don't see somebody not playing for $21 million a year. guaranteed. I know he wants more, but
I mean, Justin Jefferson just got 110 million guaranteed.
yeah, well, he's nowhere near his level.
Okay, but what is he, half? So he's like, I'm gonna play for 21 million guaranteed, and I could be playing for 55 million guaranteed.
But again, then why wouldn't you trade him before the draft and have assets?
Well, they listen. This is where we're at with the salary cap situation in the NFL these days. Is teams are getting smarter not to be held hostage and go, okay, if you don't want to play for $21 million, you don't want to play for $21 million. Listen, the Giants, who everybody wants to dunk on all the time, they did this with Saquon last year. He bit, he signed, he caved, he signed. He didn't play all that well. He's gone.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not an accountant. This is more of the numbers guy, but I guess my question is, when you pay a top of the line wide receiver and also your quarterback, like, how does that play out? That's all I'm saying for the Bengals. If you pay Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, I'm not just talking this year, I'm talking the next 5 years. A team I just keep thinking
what that has to look like is you essentially then, obviously, it's part of their thinking, or else they would have signed T. Higgins. Part of their thinking is the rest of the wide receiver core has to be guys who are fucking budget signings, budget vet signings, rookies, young guys. And we have our one go-to receiver. We have our big paid quarterback. And then we fill out the receiver core with vets and young guys. Cheap vets and young guys.
Which is fine. And I'm not saying that can't work. A team I just keep thinking of, and I am really interested to see it play out, is the Chargers, because you brought in Harbaugh. You have your stud quarterback. They let all their weapons leave, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read anything about what's been going on with the Chargers, it's the same Harbaugh. We are going to build a defense and an offensive line. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to see what Herbert can do with whatever receivers he has.
Let's not forget the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, and the Chiefs' story the whole year was their wide receivers are incompetent. And they wouldn't have lost to this team if they hadn't dropped this pass. And they wouldn't have lost to this team if the guy had run the right route. And they wouldn't have lost to this team if this guy didn't fumble. And their wide receiver core is incompetent. And they've pushed this model too far. Yes, we get it. You don't have to pay a receiver. But what if Travis Kelsey's hurt like he was in game one? And now you don't have a tight end. And now you just have to rely on your receivers to make plays. And they're incompetent. They have taken this model and they've taken it too far. And now Patrick Mahomes' legacy is going to be undone by the fact that he has to throw the ball to no-name, incompetent, blah, blah. And by the end of the year, oh, this guy's really turned it around the last 4 weeks. Yeah, you know who's bad at football? Typically, first-year receivers. Unless you're an absolute top of the fucking draft freak. You don't know the routes. You don't know it's not a ton of guys that come in the league in the middle of the second round and just are great at playing wide receiver in the NFL. But then again, they won the championship.
But let's not forget as well, the Chiefs had a top 5 defense all year. My point is
because they spent money on that side of the ball.
But that goes to my point. They also had a lot of picks through the Tyreek Hill trade to the Dolphins and how that played out. My point is that's I know every team doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes. But again, if I am constructing a team and I have a second guy, not a second guy, a guy underneath the Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, and that's another team real quick that I'd be curious to see. The Bills, everyone's saying, who's their weapons? Who's their weapons?
And let's not forget, I mean, it's not a couple of years ago that the conversation was Travis Kelsey is going to petition the league to like have him be a receiver so that he can get paid. Because don't forget the other thing about the Chiefs coming from a financial standpoint, if you want to tag a guy or if you want to give a guy his like market value, you can pay Travis Kelsey the most money a tight end gets paid, and he's still not getting paid what a receiver gets.
Yeah.
Just from a position group. So they went their go-to receiver is a tight end, which gives them a budget cut.
True.
And also they still get to spend on one guy in their receiving core, which seems to be the model. One guy in your receiving core, give your guy a security blanket, fill out the rest with vets.
So are you paying Jamar Chase?
I'm paying Jamar Chase.
Are you paying him $100 million guaranteed? Let's just put the number at that.
Well, he's got to come in under Justin Jefferson, right?
Yeah, so let's say 100 to 105.
I'm not under the hood of the Bengals enough to know where else they're deficient, but I'm paying him 90.
No way he would take that.
Okay. So then that's where I I would love to play the, GM game, but it's like, where else are they? I mean, it's not like they were like right there, they were right there a couple of years ago.
3 years ago now, or 2 years ago, 2 years ago, the championship game. No, it's that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not.
I think that's where if you're the Bengals, the other thing is like we were talking about is just like these guys who keep coming at it every year. They're like, this guy's a fucking freak. This guy's insane. This guy's incredible. It's like, I think that there is, it is smart to have your Jamar Chase and to have your T. Higgins, right? To have those sort of dueling kinds of receivers that play a different style. And so you get one, you sign him, you draft the other. If Jamar Chase is going like, it's just like, hey man, we love you. We want you here. We gave you number one. You're the fucking man. Like you're his guy. You're from blah, blah, blah. But it's like, but also the name of the game is to win the Super Bowl. And if we overpay you, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you overpaid fucking Joe Burrow. And it's like, yeah, you're not a quarterback.
Sure. Well, all this talk of football early in the show, June, it's getting me hungry, Joe. It's getting me hungry. It's getting me hungry. I'm gonna grill out today. That's the truth. After the show, it'll be early enough. I'm gonna throw some of my butcher box. I got some chicken tenders, which I love to throw on the grill because then I can use those throughout the week. I like to throw those in a little chicken fried rice, salads, little pasta.
I made my girlfriend was sick, so last night I made my mom's chicken pasta soup with I threw the chicken tendies in there, let them cook up for an hour. Then I got my my tongs out, pulled all my tendies out, sliced and diced them into chicken noodle soup, shredded chicken style, put them back in. Oh, it's perfect. So much less work than having to give me a whole ass chicken breasts. I was just give me 8 tendies.
It's the best, and I just love it. Just shows up at my front door.
Yeah,
like I don't gotta do anything. I just grab that box, throw it in the freezer. I'm set. Like I'm set for the month of June, and you guys can be set if you go over. And by the way, Father's Day is coming up, so this is a great time to celebrate Father's Day by going to butcherbox.com/dirty and use code DIRTY at checkout and enjoy your choice of bone-in chicken thighs, top sirloins, or salmon, which we crushed last week and was also amazing, in every box for an entire year. You can get that for an entire year. Plus, get an added bonus of $60 off your annual membership from June 13th through June 18th. Again, that's butcherbox.com/dirty and use code DIRTY. I see we have our good buddy Ryan Klatt. He's sitting in the penalty box right now.
The Klatt wagon, as they call him.
The Klatt wagon. He's sitting in the penalty box. He's ready to skate out on ice and talk to us about some NHL playoffs.
There he is.
Hello, Andy. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Ryan Klatt.
How's it going?
We're good. We're good. How are you, man? What's talk to me. What's going on in Canada right now?
What's going on? Well, summer's approaching, boys. Summer's approaching. We got, above freezing temperatures here finally, so that's exciting.
June 3rd, and it's still approaching?
Oh yeah, I was just joking, but no, it's nice now. Yeah.
So what is the temp? Like, give me, talk to me. And I don't know if you use Celsius. Can we do Fahrenheit?
What's the temp inside the coal room on the train right now?
Oh, that's a crispy 80 degrees in there. Like if I'm doing Celsius to Fahrenheit in my head correctly, like right now it's around 60. So kind of mild today, pretty overcast today, but we're going to be getting into the 70s, 80s here right away. So that's good.
So you guys do Celsius?
We do. I think starting in the 70s or the 80s, Canada switched to metric with. So if you talk to boomers or grandparents, they still talk in Fahrenheit and stuff. But
hey, Praino, you remember when the states attempted the just pathetic attempt to go back to the metric system?
No.
You remember that?
Was it recent?
No, it was sometime when we were. I think maybe I'm just making this up. I
thought
we were
just made that up, Andy.
I don't think so.
I thought they were trying, maybe when I was in grade school or something.
I have no recollection of this.
No? Okay.
I mean, honestly, I'm for it, but it's not going to happen.
I feel when you come on the show,
we insist on being different like that.
Yeah. Ryan, I feel when you come on the show, I just make stuff up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. What was the thing you made up last week? You brought up a stat. Wasn't it about somebody Magic owning the Grizzlies? That was just
just out of nowhere. Just in some world, that coincided. They were like, "Well, Magic Johnson owns the Grizzlies now. The Grizzlies are in Canada. We should move to the metric system." There was a whole year where Ruther's just whole life is made up.
Oh, unbelievable!
All right, so we got the Panthers and the Oilers.
That's right. We got the Radek Dvorak Cup Final. That's what all the pundits are gonna call it. No, just I'm saying that. But pretty special one. Panthers have never won. Oilers have not won since 1990, and of course, no Canadian team has won since '93, the year I was born. So that's just a huge storyline coming in.
90. The last team that won, we've been over this, but that was Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal defeated Wayne Gretzky's LA Kings in '93.
I want to go back a series because as a half of a Rangers fan, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What came across, the way Elon Musk does Twitter now, they just feed you things whether you want to see them or not. I guess there's something about me, liking and following a lot of Nick stuff or whatever. So then all of a sudden I was getting fed all this Rangers, New York sports talk, the New York talking heads thing. And the question that I kept seeing was, where do the Rangers go from here? Now, what's our move? They got so close and they won the President's Cup and whatever. And next year, how is this going to change? Now, I have a very elementary following of the NHL and even of the Rangers, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. It felt like just a few years back, the Rangers got some draft picks and whatever, and they said, hey, the long view here is looking pretty good. It felt like it came earlier than expected, this success, deep playoff run, President's Trophy, all this stuff. So is there a need to find out what's wrong, or if you sort of overachieve sooner than people think, couldn't it just be you're on course, good things happening, no need to panic?
Well, yeah, it doesn't feel like that long ago. In 2018, 2019, the Rangers came out and said, look, we're tearing this whole thing apart. We've had a good run the last 10 years. We're fucking just tearing it all down, and it's going to be a rough rebuild. And they drafted second overall in 2019 and first overall in 2020. The guy they drafted second overall in 2019, Capo Caco, he's pretty much a complete bust. But the guy they drafted...
Wait, what's his name?
Capo Caco. He's Finnish. So you talk about Star Wars names, Andy.
Capo Caco. Yeah, I felt like you fighting him. Now is he on the Empire? Is he on the Empire? Or is he the Rebellion?
He'd be some kind of alien from whatever planet.
He plays the clarinet at the.
Yeah, he's in the band in Jabba's palace. Like, I think George Lucas just flipped through like a Helsinki phone book for some inspiration for his names.
That's a great point.
Those Finnish names are fucking wild. So he's been a bust, but Alexei Lafreniere they drafted first overall in 2020, and he got off to a slow start to his career, but now he's kind of popped off finally as being a guy. So anyways, where am I going with this? So yeah, the rebuild happened a bit quicker. That the turnaround happened. They got a big free agent signing and Artemi Panarin, a few other guys. So, and now all of a sudden, they won the President's Trophy this year. They made it to the Eastern Conference Final a couple of years ago too. So on paper, they have a very solid team, and these young guys are popping off. And obviously, they got Igor Shesterkin, one of the elite goalies in that. But
that seemed to be the conversation was Shesterkin's doing everything he can and they're getting outshot and they're getting blah, blah, blah. And, in 6 of their last 7 games, they were outshot. And, I'm not saying obviously every team, if you don't win, there's improvements to be made. Right. But it felt like the conversation was suddenly like, what are we going to do? And it's like, I don't know, keep growing as a team.
Yeah, I think they just need to retool. I mean, me as a Leafs fan, I know all too well your stars not performing to where they should be come playoff time. And that was a bit of the case for the Rangers. I mean, guys like Panarin and Zibanejad, there's another name for you, Andy. They kind of went pretty quiet as the playoffs went on, and Shesterkin really had to stand on his head to keep them in. Like Florida, fucking dominated them. Like this series was like Florida just kind of ran through them. It was a 6-game series, but Shesterkin kept them in every night. So I think obviously they won the President's Trophy. They've got a great team on paper. I think if they keep retooling a little bit, and I think they can find it somewhere in this core. But their stars got to show up. Like they just looked listless. And Trouba I don't know if you heard much about Jacob Trouba, their captain. He just runs around throwing elbows at people, handing out CTE like it's candy. So
love that.
He's a bit of a pylon too. So I don't know.
And then in the West, another good series, but Edmonton goes through on the back of, what do they call him? Mick Magic or Mick
Jesus.
Mick Jesus.
Yeah. Connor McDavid going to his first Cup final. So the face of the league, being in the Stanley Cup final. I mean, that's what you want, I think. I know Edmonton, small market, non-American teams. So I'm sure people are like, oh, Bettman doesn't want this, but I think he does. The face of the league being in the Cup final, I think that's really good. And this is just, so huge for building on Connor McDavid's legacy and what I believe is, I think would I put him top 5 already? Maybe. I might put him top
all
5
time.
already. All time, yeah.
Well, but you would say that that's based on him trending that way. Not if he walks away tomorrow, he's not a top 5 player.
Yeah, I mean, right? If his career ended today, I mean, it's like an incomplete grade. Like I know ring counting is useless, as we've gone over a lot on this show, but I mean, you need at least a Cup final appearance, and a Stanley Cup ring would certainly help his legacy. But
and so what's the Klatt prediction for this series?
Dare I? Well, yeah, because I went 0 for 2 in this last round. So
you know why, Ron? You got cocky. Here's the thing. You struggled last year, and trust me.
I could have sworn you picked the Panthers to win. No,
I think I picked the Rangers. And I don't know why. Again, I don't even know my logic when I look back.
But you got cocky. That's what I'm saying. Like you're talking about how you stunk it up last year.
Yeah.
And then how much better you are. And then what happened was McJesus brought you down to earth. Is that McJesus? Did you say McJesus?
Yeah.
McJesus.
Yeah.
That's a
white Jesus. You know, I used to call Odell Beckham Black Jesus, but the truth is Jesus was black in the first place, so I should have just called him Jesus.
Well, he was
McDavid's
more.
white Jesus.
He was Arab, right?
Yeah, he was Arab. I mean,
Brown Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
Certainly wasn't white. We know he didn't look like Connor McDavid.
No, he definitely wasn't white. So Edmonton and Florida, and you talk about people think, oh, Edmonton's a small market. Dude, like Florida, I mean, so this is like Greater Miami? Is this like Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah, and Miami area, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. They played Sunrise, Florida, I believe, wherever the fuck
my
that
point is like people obviously care about hockey way more in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
also, all these games are broadcast all over the place all the time, and the nonsense about small markets is for fucking pissy pants Indiana Pacers fans and Rick Carlisle, and that's it.
Yeah,
and butthurt teams that lose. No, like it's all about stars. That in all of these leagues, like he could play in fucking, you know,
Tatooine with
exactly.
Luke Skywalker.
He could play in where the fuck ever, and if he's Connor McDavid, like that, he's going to get the most attention
for sure.
So here's who I'm rooting for. Yeah. Can I say who I'm rooting for? Even though I haven't watched a single, no offense, I've not watched a single second of NHL.
You're rooting for Edmonton,
of course.
Yeah,
you got to be rooting for the the Canadian team. You know, 93. The Canadians haven't won a your poor country. You guys love hockey. You guys haven't won.
This is the 7th time a Canadian team has made it to the final since then. It's just been so many close calls. I mean, Joe, you probably remember the Canucks Rangers Series 94. That one went 7. The Flames in 2004, a lot of Flames fans will say they actually won that cup because there was a moment in Game 6 when they were up 3-2 in the series that the puck kind of appeared to go in late in the game, but they didn't go back and review it. Tampa wound up winning that one in 7. And then, Oilers went to the cup in 06. Senators 07, Canucks again in 2011. Yeah, there's been quite a few runs for Canadian teams, but they just can't quite, get it done.
But also, I got to imagine, unless you're some weird rah American patriot or you're actually a Panthers fan, it's like Connor McDavid, face of the league, Edmonton, very historic franchise, full of success. Florida, like you're the Florida fucking Panthers. You're the Panthers. Like, what are we doing here? Like, okay, you're in, and I also it's just fucking Florida. Like, fuck Florida.
I know. Like, well, it's funny too. Like, they've been the representative out of the Eastern Conference in the final the last. I think this is the 5th straight year that the state of Florida has represented the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Final. So that's pretty crazy. But
because Florida, Tampa, is there another team down there?
No, just Florida.
Just those two. Those two have been the last 5 finalists.
That's right. Florida back to back. This is Florida's 2nd straight year in the final, and then it was Tampa 3 years in a row before that. So.
Okay.
So who's the favorite?
So. Good question. I probably should have looked up beforehand. I'd imagine it'd be Florida. Okay. And, my brain is telling me that Florida should win this series. I mean, they're so built tough. Like they play so tough and the way you got to win to win in the playoffs. Right. So I think my heart is obviously screaming for Edmonton to win, but I think my brain is telling me, I think Florida is going to get it done.
Now, how about the goalie? What's the goalie situation here? Because that's really,
yeah. So Sergei Bobrovsky, if you guys remember,
love me some Bobrovsky.
Officer Bobrovsky on the case again for Florida. He's been solid for Panthers once again. He is not having the insane, playing unconscious run that he had last year, but he's still very solid for the Panthers, excuse me. And then for Edmonton, they got hometown boy Stuart Skinner, Edmonton, Alberta native. Stuart Skinner is their goalie, and he's
any relation to Leonard Skinner?
Well, no Skinner. No, that's Skinner.
I want to call him
D.
I want to throw the D in there.
I just looked it up, by the way. Edmonton to win the series plus 106. Florida to win the series minus 128.
All
like,
right.
I mean, it's not even, but it's as close to even as you get without being even. Even would be minus 110 for everybody.
Right.
So minus 128 to plus 106, pretty even.
Yeah.
Who's got home ice in this cup?
Florida will have home ice, and I do want to quickly mention about Edmonton's season a bit, because like it's been a fucking insane season, kind of similar to the Blues in 2019 when they were in last place in January and then they went on that run to win the Stanley Cup. So I'm looking here. November 13th, they fired their coach and hired Sasky boy Chris Knobloch. So that's probably the secret to their success right there. November 14th, they were 31st in the NHL standings.
Damn.
And then, so it was looking pretty dire at that point. Then from December 21st to January 27th, Edmonton goes on a 16-game winning streak. And, now here they are in the Stanley Cup Final. So it's been kind of a Cinderella season for them. Horrific start, and they were able to turn it around by bringing a Sasky boy in as their head coach.
Sasky Pride. You celebrating Sasky Pride Month?
Yeah, it's coincidentally the same month. Yeah.
Do you have Sasky Pride 24/7?
Oh, of course I do.
I mean
24/7, 365.
You need a shirt that just says Sasky Pride.
Yeah, Sasky Pride. Yeah.
Although I feel like you guys don't have to wear shirts. You just know when you walk around.
Yeah, you can tell it from my voice, Andy. Right?
I can totally tell. I can
in
see
my soul
the energy. Let me ask you something related to dirty sports. Speaking of Sasky, since Praino hates Texas so much, what's the Texas equivalent in Canada?
Oh geez, like where it's corporate and just nothing but strip malls and
or not even just that.
Canada just like in its core has more soul than that.
But not only that, like Texans have so much pride. I don't think anybody has more pride in their state like Texans.
I mean, off the top of my head, like Calgary with all their Cowboys, and you got the Calgary Stampede. It's very Texas-like.
Okay.
Alberta is very like, they kind of pretend like they're the southern states a lot. It's a bunch of cowboys and ranches. There is a ton of ranches in Alberta. Like a lot of the farms there are all mixed, whereas in Saskatchewan we're more grain farmers here. There is some livestock here, but it's mostly grain farming. And yeah, there are just a bunch of cowboys over there in Alberta, and Calgary is kind of the heart of it with the Stampede. So probably, I guess Calgary would be a comparison.
Okay.
Huge city, Calgary.
Interesting, it is.
It's over 1 million people. It's got more people than Saskatchewan, actually.
It's funny, I learned so much about Canada when we bring you on the show. You would think they would teach.
Nobody seems to know about it, really.
Yeah, but like you would think, right, Praino, why aren't we teaching a little more things about Canada?
We did. I failed it in college. I told you. We've talked about this.
Yeah. Like when I visit the States, like I used to go to Arizona here and there when my aunt and uncle had a place there. And if I would run into someone and they'd ask where I'm from, I'd say Saskatchewan. And they'd have no clue what I'm talking about. It'd be like telling someone who's never seen Star Wars that I'm from planet Hoth. Like they have no fucking clue. Right?
By the way,
I could name you all 50 states easily, but like we only have 10 provinces and 3 territories, but no one gives a fuck.
I didn't know you were a Star Wars nerd. I appreciate all the Star Wars references.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Star Wars guy. I probably watched, the original trilogy we had on VHS. And Phantom Menace would have came out when I was like 5 or 6. I had watched the original trilogy on VHS probably 30 times each before the Phantom Menace even came out.
And then you were like, "What is this shit?"
No, I was a little.
Yeah, you gotta remember the younger generation. Andy.
Yeah, I had like Jar Jar Binks toys. I had Jar Jar.
Oh my god! You throw those Jar Jar Binks toys into the coal fire when you're riding that train.
Well, now that I watch Phantom Menace as an adult, I'm like, well, fuck, I can see why this upset a few people, right?
Yeah,
specifically Jamaican people. Because Jar Jar Binks is the most racist ass shit of all time.
That's right. Well, then they had those.
Lisa know how to read.
They had those those Viceroy guys were super racist towards Japanese. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, totally.
Wnba Matata.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's funny. So give me, if I actually do want to tune it on, give me a couple points I should look out for if I'm watching these games.
Okay.
Whether it's players or just anything.
Well, just sit back and watch McDavid do his magic. That's
Okay.
number one. Leon Draisaitl, I've mentioned him a few times. Top 5 player in the league, almost also on the Oilers. He's the Messier to McDavid's Gretzky. He's the Yager to his Lemieux, the Malkin to his Crosby, right? So
The Ruther to his Praino.
That's that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. And when did these start?
So it doesn't start till Saturday. So
What?
got I know.
When was it? When was the game yesterday?
Yeah, it was
Edmonton's
last
win?
night.
Yeah, it was
Jesus
last night.
Christ.
Yeah.
NBA takes a week off, Brian.
I'm saying it's a week.
When does the NBA final start?
Tuesday.
Oh shit. Well then, I have no idea why they didn't just start on Thursday. I thought maybe they were avoiding Thursday for the NBA, but if the NBA is starting on Tuesday, then I don't know what they're waiting for. But Jesus Christ.
Well, we'll have to let's be in touch. Throughout the final, bring you back on. You can give us some updates.
Yeah, probably won't be till. I guess I could come on after the final's done. Hey, we can wrap it all up. I'll be on.
Did we force you? Did we put your hand to the fire? Did you make? I mean, you said
he made a prediction.
Okay, maybe. I mean, he kind of said that
Florida.
Florida should be the team.
I'm afraid to pick Edmonton because now I'm fucking cold again. I'll just say I really want Edmonton to win. I'll be cheering for Edmonton. I just need to see McDavid win a cup. But my brain is just telling me that Florida has just a more well-rounded team. Edmonton, great team. They got offensive firepower. They've just got holes. I don't 100% trust Stuart Skinner in net. I think he's played okay, but he can have, a really off night, and they've got holes on defense. So
let me ask you one more thing, since we were talking, obviously that McDavid is the big star, and is there an anti-McDavid is there any anti-McDavid sentiment? Because it feels like everywhere else in sports, the best player has its haters. Are there Edmonton haters? Are there McDavid haters? Are there people who are like, he'll never be fucking Gretzky, blah, blah, or whatever the fucking, are there boomers out there screaming at their fucking...
Oh, there's some boomers out there that you see a few comments like that where it's like, well, what has he done in the playoffs? Where's his cups?
But in the league right now, he's like, he's pretty beloved, and everybody agrees he's the man.
It's pretty unanimous, opinion that he is the best player in the league right now. Nathan McKinnon, I think, is in the conversation, and he's probably going to win the MVP this year. But I mean, it's everybody takes, you guys talk about LeBron. Everyone kind of takes their turns winning MVPs. They don't like to give it to the same guy every year.
Yeah.
And it's McDavid. It's unanimous. It's McDavid. He doesn't get nearly as much hate as LeBron, but
right.
And I think that's probably to do with people's, intense love for Michael Jordan, as you guys have talked about a lot. But
right.
It's not directly comparable to the NHL. I think people are pretty unanimous on McDavid. Maybe not all time. People aren't ready to put him ahead of Gretzky, or I wouldn't put him ahead of Crosby even yet all time in terms of all time legacy yet. But he's certainly on his way to being up there.
All right, Ryan. Well, as always, appreciate you coming on to fill us in.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me once again.
Good to see you, Ryan. Thanks for coming on.
We'll be in touch, and enjoy the train. Enjoy that train, buddy.
I always do.
All right,
always.
Take care, man.
All right, see ya.
Ryan Klatt, great hockey correspondent. I'll say that the Connor McDavid of our hockey correspondents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
universally beloved, except by people on Reddit, I've heard.
And and just random YouTube comments from here to there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know how the world is. People
Yes,
people always want to diss. Speaking of guests on the show, I want to announce we have a guest coming on Thursday. I'm very excited.
Ooh, Andy, tell me about it.
He's got a big time book coming out.
Okay.
In fact, it came out 2 days ago.
Okay. The book is called
Hot Dog Money.
Okay.
Author Guy Lawson. And it is the story inside.
Guy Lawson sounds like the name of somebody who would write like a Bond book.
I know.
Like Guy Lawson.
So he breaks down the biggest scandal in college sports history, the wild scandal that happened with the NCAA and college basketball. And basically, he has all the information on Marty Blazer, who went undercover with the FBI that exposed all this stuff.
And what year did this take place?
In the last few years.
Oh, okay.
So
the recent college hoop scandal.
Yeah, and the one where like Louisville and Rick Pitino were involved, and
Right.
Sean Miller in Arizona, Adidas, all this stuff. So the biggest scandal ever. And Guy is a huge author. He wrote War Dogs, which maybe a lot of you have seen. Was turned into a movie. In fact, this book that he wrote, Hot Dog Money, has already been, I don't know what's the word, purchased, optioned. George Clooney has already purchased.
Wow.
So I assume George Clooney will turn this book into a movie as well. So Guy's going to come on. I'm excited.
George Clooney's got to play Jay Wright in that movie, right? I mean, this like pointing Spider-Man meme.
I don't think Nova was involved in the scandal. Okay. So
maybe George Clooney makes a little appearance as like the holier than thou. Like, what are you guys doing over there?
So we're going to have Guy on the show on Thursday, and I'm excited about that. And I just got my book and I'm going to start reading it, but you should have one coming too, Praino. And you know what? Haven't decided yet how much will be behind the paid wall. So another reason to subscribe, guys. This is going to be really good. This is going to be really good. And
well, the thing that we that isn't talked about enough is that if you're a free subscriber to the Dirty Sports Podcast, Andy throws a lot of stuff in the chat. So, you know, a lot of times you get to see things you wouldn't otherwise see just as a free subscriber.
Yeah, I'm like Oprah.
And you get an episode, and you get an episode. You get a book about the NCAA, and you get a book about the NCAA.
So you know me, I love my scandals.
You get a Butcher Box promo code. You get free salmon for a year.
But what's cool about this is, so Marty Blazer basically got popped he was an agent for defrauding millions from NFL players.
Sick.
And what his plea is that he could uncover just the dirty end of NCAA basketball and all the back end stuff. So he went undercover as an FBI informant for 3 years, and he details everything, and he's got journals and he's doing all that. And that's where Guy Lawson comes in. He interviewed him for months to write this book.
Very cool.
And what's crazy is Marty died recently.
Suspiciously?
I'm not, look, we'll have to ask Guy.
Yeah.
He was 54. It said natural causes.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is the biggest scandal in college sports history, and he exposed it, and he died of natural causes.
And he mentions the Clintons in the book. So kind of suspicious.
I don't think there's anything about the Clintons in there. I'm not trying to get offed either, man. Let's nothing about the Clintons in there.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite Norm clips of all time. Him on The View. I thought it was common knowledge. I thought we all knew Bill Clinton was a murderer.
I know we've probably talked about that. I forgot. That's pretty funny.
They all like freak out. Don't slander. I didn't know it was slander. I thought it was just common knowledge.
The thought of him going on that show is amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. You want to talk a little Caitlin Clark?
Let's do it.
Look at us, Joe. We've talked more WNBA women's basketball than ever.
As has everybody. As has the internet. You think serious question. I'm not even joking. This is a serious statistical question. Do you think that there has been more tweets and or social media posts about the WNBA in the last 1 week than there was in the prior history of the WNBA?
I think
whether it be tweets, replies, whatever, any like a conversation, a social media conversation about the WNBA in the last week than in the entire history of the WNBA.
probably more in the last week.
I would think so too. I mean, if you look at half of those clips of Caitlin Clark getting fouled, there are a trillion comments out of them. You look at the New York Liberty have won the 2018 WNBA World Championship. Two replies underneath.
Well, look, I have a quick view of the 5 most watched games this year for the league. 4 of them involve Caitlin Clark's team. And we just had Ryan on, so this is some good perspective right here. Where did I see this? Okay. So when she played recently, the Connecticut Sun, she's on the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, it had 1.56 million viewers on ESPN. It said ESPN's Game 7 of Edmonton Oilers versus Vancouver Canucks at 1.66. Now, obviously, 2 different sports and one involves 2 Canadian teams, but it's pretty interesting. I saw this as well. This is all you need.
In Dallas Game 6?
No, this is a previous series.
Oh, okay, got it.
So I guess they had played around that same time. So like here's another one. So the ratings have obviously skyrocketed this season. ABC recently announced that it had its most viewed opening weekend doubleheader. This is when the WNBA started ever, with 2 games that combined to average 1.5 million viewers, which marked a 143% increase from the game of the doubleheader the previous season.
Yeah.
So
the
Caitlin Clark effect is real.
Well, the Caitlin Clark effect is real, and now the conversation has splintered into so many different things. To me, I think I'm starting to wonder if this isn't all by design now.
Well, I was going to ask that. If we want to put on our conspiracy theory tinfoil hats.
Just kind of like the greatest thing in the history of the WNBA is coming to the league. Is there really any drama or excitement around just like we roll out the red carpet for her and here we go? Like, I'm starting to wonder, because it just keeps happening, that I'm starting to wonder, like, listen, I don't give a fuck. Let me repeat that. I don't give a fuck about any of the, like, cool, like the Caitlin Clark thing, but like I haven't watched a game. I don't think I will watch a game.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And Caitlin Clark, like, I don't have any rooting interest for or against. Like, certainly the most talented women's player I've ever seen with my eyes. But at the same time, like, I don't really care whether or not she wins or loses or wins the MVP or anything like that. I don't give a shit. As far as I can tell, she's not like, I know that there's some back and forth with her and Angel Reese in college and like blah, 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 but it doesn't seem that she's not Draymond Green. She's not the Draymond Green of WNBA players.
I mean, I've seen dirty plays from her for sure.
Sure. I've seen dirty plays from her. I've seen whatever. But like, the thing about Caitlin Clark that I definitely have not seen is I have not seen Caitlin Clark say, I can't wait to go to dominate the WNBA. I'm going to be the best player in the NBA. WNBA, I'm going to win the Rookie of the Year. I'm going to win the MVP. I'm going to win whatever. And so it does feel really weird that, like, as a whole, almost, all the other WNBA players are like against her. You just don't really see this. Like, you don't see this in other sports. I'm starting to think, is this a league-wide like referendum? Hey, it would make for good drama if you guys like bully her.
Yeah.
And we talk about it a ton.
I mean, like this play here, which obviously is the main play everybody's talking about, where she gets
It's
knocked.
just so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's
what this girl's name is, Andy?
Kennedy something.
Right. We still don't know. This is my point. We still don't fucking. The whole world's been talking about it for 2 days. We still don't fucking.
Yeah, what is her name? It's Kennedy something.
Yeah, exactly.
Kennedy Carter.
Great.
Well,
we still don't fucking know.
Well, that is a good point. Let me say this much, and this kind of proves the point. We were going to Brittany's parents yesterday, and she was watching nonstop, different angles. I didn't bring it up, right? In the passenger seat in the front. She was watching all the stuff on it, and it's like, okay, someone who's never ever shown interest in the WNBA is on Instagram, just looking at clips, is reading news stories like the whole way home. And it's the same thing. She's like, who is this girl? Who is this? Who's this girl hitting her? And of course, getting all defensive.
And also, if you text her right now and be like, don't Google it, what was that girl's name who did this to her? She still doesn't know.
No, but she knows who Caitlin Clark is.
Right. And that's it. It's starting to get to the point where you go, like, I get people, I get all the hype and everybody, and I get when people overhype. And we've seen this with LeBron. We've seen this with, historically, whoever comes into the league and is like the number one overall pick.
Yeah. Did I lose Praino? That's a funny spot to lose Praino. I don't know why. I was thinking the same thing as we try to get Joe back. I was thinking the same thing. We see all the conspiracy theory stuff all the time. You see with the NFL, you see with the NBA. Okay, Joe lost power. All right, we're going to just remove him from the stage. All right, let me let him know. Anyway, you see it all the time. But like this, it is bizarre. It's bizarre that the whole league is against somebody that's only going to enhance the league and also enhance their bank accounts. Bizarre. Was there a league-wide memo? Hey guys, we're going to script this like a reality TV show or a sitcom. I don't know. But most people are happy when someone in their line of work makes money, right? Like when Joe Rogan signed that $300 million Spotify deal in 2020, every podcaster should be happy. It doesn't matter how you feel about him. I don't really care how you feel about him. Or when Pat McAfee lands a huge deal. It's like, I don't care how you feel about them personally. That's good for your industry because your industry is valued, right? It goes up. So her industry, the Women's National Basketball Association should be happy, right? They should be happy that she's bringing all this fanfare, all this attention. But I don't know, man. Charles Barkley said it, a few weeks ago about the women being petty. And there's something to that for real. Women are petty, man. There's a reason there's a Mean Girls movie. Women destroy women more than men destroy women, in my opinion. Like, girls can get evil on each other. dudes will settle things, or they'll settle things physically. Women will just be evil to each other. So I feel like that's what's going on. Either there's a conspiracy or there's just extreme jealousy. And that's what's happening here. But we're all talking about it. We've talked about the WNBA more in the last 6-7 weeks than we have in 10 years of Dirty Sports combined. All because of Caitlin Clark. This is their Magic Johnson. This is their Larry Bird moment. This is the NBA in the late 70s, early 80s when the game was on tape delay. Tape delay. And it's the parallels between college and the NBA and then women's college and the WNBA are the exact same. So for a brief history for people who don't know, the men's college basketball game was so much more popular than the NBA. In the late 70s, men's college basketball crushed the NBA. Just like women's college basketball crushes the WNBA. But then Larry Bird and the Magic Johnson, they came along, right? And you have this huge rivalry. It generates interest. It generates revenue. It generates TV deals. And that's what you're seeing now with Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese? So you have some stars. Now, obviously, I don't know enough about the WNBA, but it seems like it's literally following the same path that the NBA had in the early 80s, late 70s. And that's exactly what's happening. All right. I think we got Praino back.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
So I lost power here.
Okay.
I'm still without power. I'm on via my hotspot now. The power of the internet. I'm on via my cell phone's hotspot. So we'll see how this lasts. But yeah, all of a sudden in the middle of the show, my Miller Lite thing just started to twinkle out, and I was like, "Oh, I hope I didn't just like blow a neon fuse." And then all of a sudden, my like light next to the computer went off, and then all of a sudden you started spinning. And I don't know if you caught it. I don't know if it broadcasted through or if I was already gone, but I was like, I think I just lost power. And then you were gone.
But you're back, unless it's the AI Joe Praino.
I'm back.
The real Joe Praino. Well, I don't think
me.
we have too much to add. I kind of just,
What was your take on the Caitlin Clark thing? Real, fictionalized? Are all basically the question I think is, was this a referendum, or is everyone in the NBA just a fucking bitch?
Well, I went on saying how petty women are to harness Charles Barkley's comments, and you'd agree with this. I said women are so much worse to women than men are to women.
1,000,000%.
So, like, let me put it this way. Brittany brings up, not all the time, but like more than I'm like, why are you bringing this up? Getting worried about like when Isla goes to grade school and high school and how bad girls can be and mean. And I'm like, dude, she's one. And she's like, you don't know how bad girls are.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I've said this all the time. It's like women are so much worse to fucking women are just so much worse in general. It's just like how quick they are to fucking, if people always go, oh, the men and their fucking tempers and like whatever. It's like women go 0 to 100 so much fucking faster. The person that's yelling at somebody in a fucking store, I mean, it's the reason we have Karens and they're not fucking Kevins. It's like they're so much quick to flare up. They're so much more erratic. They're so much nastier to each other.
Well, that's why I said that's literally why the movie Mean Girls exists.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's just amazing that it's happening across the board. I know there's a whole conversation about race that's happening, and there's a whole conversation about whatever, but it's like we watched Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird be like, when she gets here, good fucking luck. And it's like, I think I think it's stupid to pretend that there's not a racial aspect to this.
For sure.
But there's also just women being fucking bitches.
Yeah, look, I mean, I said, I mean, the parallels are, it's wild, the parallels between this and the NBA before Bird and Magic, and how the men's college game was more popular than the NBA, just like the women's college game is more popular than WNBA. The parallels are there, and it's like, okay, why are like I said, I mean, again, you were didn't have power. I said when Joe Rogan gets a $300 million deal, I don't care how you feel about him. That's good for podcasters. When Pat McAfee gets a huge deal, that's good for podcasters.
Yeah.
Because it's the same industry as far as being good for the industry. When the girl, what is it? Call Me Daddy. What is the show?
Yeah. Yep.
Like when she gets a huge
Call
Spotify.
Daddy.
Yeah, when she gets a huge Spotify deal, that's just good for the industry.
Yeah.
So
and
like,
it's weird. Like we were both too young. I was even too young to remember, like, if there was any sort of like, we're going to show Magic and Larry who's boss when they get into the league. Obviously we know, like, what guys like Jackie Robinson went through and whatever, but there is a part of this that seems really fucking stupid. Like, no one gave a shit about you guys. No one will give a shit about you guys. If Caitlin Clark tomorrow goes, I'm going to the big three, the WNBA falls off a cliff again. Falls off a cliff. No, like it might like cripple the league. It might take it from, not only am I not going to watch, now I'm going to boycott it if she left. And so there is some part of it. It's like, she doesn't seem like the kind of girl who's like, I can't handle the bullying and whatever. She seems like she's like relatively fine with it. But at the same time, it's like, what are you doing here? It's a real dangerous game to play. And then I think that there's also like this weird thing where people are constantly crying about how the NBA is too soft, and now they're crying about how the WNBA is too hard. Like, pick a fucking lane. Back in the day, Bill Laimbeer would just hip check you if you're trying to inbound the ball. I loved it. Don't touch Caitlin.
yeah.
Maybe we should just all agree that the NBA is not too soft, and that pushing people and shoving them and hip checking them for literally no reason is just like dumb and unathletic. And
yeah,
it's like,
and by the way,
what dumb unathletic people do when they can't stop real great athletes.
I don't mind the physical play ever, but you're just knocking someone to the ground with zero basketball. Like there's nothing to do with basketball.
Yeah. You're just being a bitch. And when we say that about Draymond Green, it's like attacking, but these girls are literally just being bitches.
Yeah. I know. It does make you wonder, though. The conspiracy element makes you wonder. But like you said, and I agree. It's like, but girls are like this, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, 0 to 100 like that. I mean, she called her a bitch before she did it.
Yeah.
The girl called Caitlin Clark a bitch.
And then she's like replying to people's like threads or whatever, like, besides 3-point shooting, what is she bringing in the league or whatever? And then it's like, of course, you look at their stats and like Caitlin Clark dominates her statistically, like across the board.
Yeah. Well, I still won't be watching.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't care either. It just is dumb. Like,
it's interesting.
Yeah. I would feel the same way about it. It's like, it feels like the kind of thing where it feels like Caitlin Clark is having the effect on certain people the way like the Grayson Allens or the whatever. Like now Grayson Allen was like a horrifically like dirty player as well. But like, it feels like it's that like Duke white boy thing. Like everybody, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if they were just inbounding the ball to Christian Laettner and some guy just like body checked him before he had the ball, you'd also be like, okay, like, all right, cool. Christian Laettner is like a douche, but like, this is dumb. Like,
Yeah,
let's just play ball.
for sure. Well, we can segue into some calls.
Yeah,
We
let's do it.
We actually have a call related to Caitlin Clark.
Great. Is it
It's-
Ski Dog?
No, but it's on par with Ski Dog. Crazy Eye Sam Bradford with a classic. So give us a ring, 310-359-8365, and let's get to this call.
Hey boys, Crazy Eye Sam Bradford here. Antonio Brown recently tweeted, Caitlin Clark keeps it hairy, and now when I see her, it's all I think about. I'm sure Tug Hooker's dad isn't a Substack subscriber, and all these throwback episodes got me thinking dirty as my baby's crying in the background. And I want to know, what other female sports figure, athlete, or announcer keeps it hairy? Condoms are for pussies.
Wait, what about Tug Hooker's dad?
I have no idea.
So Antonio Brown, or I should say whoever's running Antonio Brown's Twitter feed, because I definitely don't think it's him, I guess tweeted at Caitlin Clark
Yeah.
has a bush.
Which I don't even know if I agree with, honestly.
I think it's false. I think it's just messing around.
Yeah. But now we have to like guess who is.
Brittany Griner 100% has a bush. Really?
It's interesting. Well, here's the thing, Andy. Here's the one thing you got to consider if we're going to do this, if we're going to play this game, play this hypothetical. These girls are in the WNBA. Like, I don't know if you know this. Brittany Griner is probably a lesbian.
Yeah, I know she is.
Right?
She's married to a chick.
Yeah. So, well, unless we go back to my longtime theory. But like, are lesbians like keeping it hairy these days? Like, I'm almost like,
well, I don't think it has anything to do with your sexuality. Do you? I don't think whether you shave or don't shave down there has anything to do with your sexuality.
you think
you think more straight women are prone to have a bush?
Yeah.
That's an interesting theory. First
of all, here's what I think. I think these days it's just like unlikely in general.
I agree.
But also just like, so your whole sex life is going down on each other, and you're keeping fucking
like some people
the
like
leg
that.
lock, like they used to say.
Some people like that.
Some people like that. Some people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people are into their thing. I'm not saying I do, but some people like that.
I feel like the lesbian that keeps it is like the I don't shave my armpits, like bohemian fucking I wear fucking natural deodorant lesbian.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
But I'm having
now also
I'm having we talking about Antonio Brown's. I'm having like CTE of some bad hookups in the past. This is
Now also let's talk about like when Antonio Brown or the ghostwriter for Antonio Brown says that, they're talking about keeps it. They're not talking about landing strip.
No.
They're talking about. So now we get into like who. I don't know. I don't even think your girl Doris Burke does. I think Doris Burke's cleaned it. I think Doris Burke's like manicured. Who's an unmanicured out there? Like, does that even exist anymore? Like, I think you just got to be like, I think it's like life's got to go wrong for you. Or you got to be trying to prove something politically.
I like that you brought in Doris Burke. I do want to know who's running this feed. I'm scrolling through his feed. His feed is wild. It's definitely not him. I mean, he's doing Bill Cosby memes, like old Bill Cosby memes. I don't know. It's a good question. I think Griner's rocking it hard, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, I think Griner's manscaping. I mean, manicuring. Makes it look bigger.
No, it doesn't. Oh yeah. Shaving it makes it look bigger.
Yeah. You know who like keeps it like, you know who's doing it these days? It's like you know that girl Pearl, who's like the red pill chick. Like that's the kind of like.
Who?
Oh yeah, I don't even get you started. She's like female Andrew Tate, basically.
Pearl.
You don't know. It's like you're not even on the internet,
Bro, I am. Pearl Davis?
Yeah, Pearl Davis.
I could see it. I know nothing about her. I'm just looking at her profile pic.
Just like the kind of thing like real women don't care. Like it's lesbian to women. Men shouldn't even be going down on women. That's the kind of shit she's saying. If your man goes down on you, then he's gay. That's the kind of shit she says. My man likes it, Harry. Although she doesn't have a man because like the whole world hates her. And women hate her.
I love how you're like, are you even on the internet? Apparently not. I'm in a Miss Rachel Coco Melon world. Okay.
Oh, there's that. Let's talk about it, Andy.
Miss Rachel?
I think Miss Rachel could keep it a little.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I don't know if she's, I don't know. I don't think she's unkempt, but I think she keeps it bushy.
I'm just trying to think why women would keep it bushy in 2024.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking any woman.
Yeah.
Like at this point.
That's specifically why I brought up Pearl, which is like, I think the only reason is if you're like you have some sort of mental illness where you're like, if men want you to shave, they're gay. And you're like, what is this theory?
Well, I think this could be a nice little segue into our next call, which is also related.
Real men would never want you to shave. Like my peak man, Harrison Butker, he would never tell me. And you're like, oh, this lady's crazy.
Okay, so we have a call about somebody who used to be married to a WNBA star.
Wow. Fascinating.
What's up, Joey?
No, no, I didn't download. Oh no, I didn't download the. Why did it do that? I thought I had.
So we didn't have. Was it
It's about Darren Waller.
Oh, got it.
Why is it?
I thought we had a call from somebody married to an NBA. I was like, this is amazing. What insight we're about to get. I thought we actually had a call from somebody who was married to a WNBA player.
Oh no. It was a call. Well, I don't have to play the call. The call's sorry, the call. Yeah, I'm not doing all this to play the call because it's a pain in the ass. Basically, the call was about Darren Waller, who was married to Kelsey Plum.
Yes. Okay.
And the call was more towards you since he plays for the Giants, but I guess he's going to retire.
Yeah. Plays for is loose.
Is loose. And the call was about his video that he dropped. Did you see this?
No.
He dropped a breakup video, but I guess he's a singer now. Have you seen this? I have not watched it. I figured we could watch it together.
I literally just told you I have not seen it.
I know. I wasn't sure if you saw any clips. Okay. So this is in reaction to him. I guess they were only married a year.
Get him off my team immediately.
What?
Get him off my team immediately. Hasn't even started, and I want him gone.
It's hard to love. It's hard to be free.
Yeah.
It's hard to give all of your soul and have your heart broken in return, but it's time.
Take your time ahead. Just take a time out and feel the nights we opened up and we knew how much that you and I were in.
Got the auto tune.
Awful.
Wrong.
Awful.
I don't think we can get through too much of this.
I think does he have the scales of justice tattooed on his face? What?
What is happening here?
How long I gotta climb up this hill?
And is this like a
Let me ask you
knockoff
something,
of his
Andy.
ex?
I guess. Well, you know what she looks like, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing because really, prior to seeing this video, there was nothing that could even touch it. But now we can actually have a conversation, and this is honestly wildly unheard of. What is cringier, this or the popcorn video? That is, I'm assuming, the reason that they're broken up.
Oh, what's cringier, this or her popcorn video?
So her popcorn video is the single cringiest thing that has ever happened in the history of recorded moving pictures. And I was like, well, that's hard to ever touch that as far as cringiest thing of all time. And then he drops a video and he's like, hold on, wait a second. I may be able to top it. Absolutely unheard of. It was like a belt that was never getting taken. And then he was like, what if I make a music video in my fake varsity jacket where me and a girl are sitting on a bench?
All right, let me pull up the popcorn video.
Kelsey Plum in the building, enjoying the popcorn apparently. The 2017 Wooden Award went.
And that's only like the part of it. There's a longer version, Andy. There's a longer version where she does it again.
Oh man.
If you go to if you go to any clip on put in like Darren Waller fumbled the bag, and it will be like a picture of her like looking hot on the way into the game. And then under that, everybody will be like, yeah, but this. And they'll be like, all right, yeah. And then, of course, like losers will be like, I mean, God forbid she has fun. God forbid she has fun. God forbid she goes into Lee Harvey Oswald 1,000-yard stare mode and then fucking eats popcorn as if she was eating the fingers of small children and she's a witch living in the woods. That is the cringiest video of all time until he dropped his music video.
Okay. Is this a longer version?
Yeah, there's a long because she does it twice in a row. She's like, isn't that cute? And then there's a second like, isn't that cute?
Let me see if we can pull up this one. It might just be the same thing with hate comments.
Kelsey Plum in the building.
Lately, this reaction gif of professional basketball player Kelsey Plum eating popcorn while giggling and making some weird faces has gone viral. I mean, the internet does love a good reaction gif.
White women humor.
Call a millennial cringe. Is Kelsey Plum a quirk chungus? She is getting roasted across
quirk
the
chungus.
Gorgeous, successful, award-winning professional athlete. But if you give in to the pull of the quirk, make a single silly face, Twitter will find you and you will regret it.
Kelsey Plum.
Oh my God. Bro.
Yo, I really never thought it would be challenged. And then it was challenged by her own ex.
Well, if you want to do length, I'm going to say it's Darren Waller because
If we're going to do girth, it's Kelsey Plum. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, he shot this video, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wrote the song. He just this was her on the spot thinking she's funny and then doing it again, which I'm not justifying it. This was way thought out. Like his was a whole thing. And you and I didn't even get into a minute of it, I don't think.
We got to put up a poll. What's cringier? Her eating popcorn or his music video? I mean, it's I never this is like if we finally got Tyson versus Ali. Like I never thought it would happen. It's like, oh well, we'll never get to know because nothing will ever challenge it. And then he's like,
I wanna be still.
Sorry.
Imagine if we fell and call off. Tired of your day job. We can go down that dirt road like some kids. We can go play hard. You laughing your face off. Shit.
Who's he talking to?
I guess her through the car window.
I mean, what is happening here?
Meanwhile, she should be pulling away, but she can't because she's eating popcorn.
Yeah.
I wish I had known any of this shit.
What's that?
I wish I had known any of this shit before the Giants fucking traded for him. I'd been like, let's not do that.
Well, so he
I didn't even know he was married to her.
So Darren Waller, was a former alcoholic. I guess you're always an alcoholic, and he's battled substance abuse. What I don't think he realizes is that people watching this will turn to substance abuse.
Yeah.
Like it's doing the reverse effect.
I think what he doesn't realize is that the comments are going to send him back into a spiral.
Yeah. I haven't had an alcoholic beverage in over 10 years. I might drink the minute the show ends.
Yeah.
Because I saw this. Like you're going to drive me back into the booze, Darren. That's a great question. I'll put that poll up. What's more cringe? I'm going to still say Darren Waller.
I might not get into alcohol. I might need to just start popping painkillers after the show. Like I might just go straight for the fucking opiates and just.
You want to hear another? I kind of want to see her sex face after she does that, though.
Oh my god!
Like, I'm curious. You want to hear a crazy theory? I bet she's a freak in the bed.
I bet she's annoying as fuck.
The popcorn video,
so she shuts up.
The popcorn video would say otherwise, so I'm going to go reverse. I hope.
God, they're the cringiest couple in American history. He's got the scales of justice tattooed on his face.
Well, he's going to have a very long, amazing music career, I guess. He's leaving the NFL, leaving your boys.
Thank God. Let's free up some cap space.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Well, Andy, as I said before the show, I got some shows coming up. July is chock full of dates. Thursday, July 11th, Eugene, Oregon. I know there's a lot of dirtballs who've been like, when are you coming up to the Pacific Northwest? When are you coming back to Pacific Northwest? When are you coming to Oregon? When are you coming to Seattle? When are you coming, whatever? Eugene, Oregon. Haven't been to Eugene since I did it as part of the Bingle tour with Eddie Ift. Olson Run is the new comedy club that's there. I'm not sure if I'm on the calendar officially yet. I was actually texting with the booker before the show started today with some of my like credits and bio information and blah, 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 blah. July 11th, Thursday, July 11th, Olson Run in Eugene, Oregon. The following week, July 19th, Friday, July 19th, another one-nighter, Laugh It Up Comedy Club in Poughkeepsie, New York. That'll be part of a long run that I'm doing back east. I'll be home that whole week. Sounds like there may be a show on Long Island mixed in there. And then the following weekend, July 26th, 27th, and 28th, I will be at Yonkers Comedy Club in Yonkers, New York, before coming back west. And the first week of August, I will be at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in Vegas. So those and more, joepraino.com or at Joe Praino on Instagram. All the ticket links as they are made available will be in my link tree in my bio.
Word.
I'm just
I'm at Andy Ruth. What's that?
Popping dates.
Oh, there you go. I'm an Andy Ruther. You guys can hop on, subscribe to the Andy Ruther Show, and we can talk stupid shit. That's what I do. Yeah.
Your show should be called. There's so much Star Wars talk and Karen's Anderson. Your show should be called Andy Ruther's Karen's in Space.
Well, no, I've only done Karen's once and Star Wars once.
Okay.
So I did enjoy on TikTok when I just posted what's the best movie sequel of all time, and TikTok had a strong opinion. I said to me it's The Godfather and The Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh.
And,
well, I would love to know what other things were in the run. Dark Knight.
I didn't say that one. I see it. Yeah, that's in the running. For me, I struggled just because Batman had already been. Like, I didn't want to. It was just weird. I didn't want to include that.
Right. Terminator 2.
Yeah, a lot of people said Terminator 2.
I think the question is sort of like the sequel thing is like, how good is the movie? Like, best sequel of all time is sort of like, how good is the movie? But like sequels that were better than the original, that's also
Yeah.
I think
Terminator 2 I don't think Terminator 2 is better than the original.
Ooh, interesting. I'm not really a huge Terminator guy. Like, I watch it, I like it, but I haven't like dug in. Probably is though, right? Like with the
I don't know, but Empire Strikes Back and The Godfather are both better than the first ones.
Agreed.
So,
but and then how much better does that matter? Like how much better they are than the original? I would say Dark Knight.
It's great.
Biggest leap between the two. And I saw Batman Begins 3 times in theaters.
Yeah, I agree.
But like The Godfather is like also an exceptional movie.
It's a great movie. I mean, it's an interesting question. That's for sure. And I mean, it's obviously it's open up to just personal opinion on that, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. All right. Well, you're kind of fading in and out, so I know you're on that hot spot. So let's wrap this up.
Power, so let's go figure out what's going on with my power.
All right. That'll be this show. You guys have a great week. We'll see you guys on Thursday. And as always, stay dirty.